So welcome everybody. Welcome to my webinar. Today we're going to look into the Microsoft latest service called Roadmap and how we can track key initiatives within the service. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them in the chat and I will try to get back to all of them at the end of the presentation. So what will we cover today? First, we'll have a brief introduction to our company and to myself, for those of you who don't know us. Then we will have a look at the direction Microsoft have undertaken and why the new roadmap is an important service in the modern PPM and work management platform. After this, we will go hands-on and look at how we can link and create projects and programs in the roadmap service, compare them, and follow up on trends and history through reporting and trending capabilities. In the end, we will have a look at what makes all this possible and what the future might have to bring for the roadmap service and the modern project workspace. So first of all, our company. We are 62 very passionate consultants who have helped over 200 companies. We work out from the Netherlands and from Denmark in Aarhus and in Copenhagen. We are serving many customers all over Europe, such as Sweden, Finland, Italy, Germany, United Kingdom, and so on. We have been established since 2004 and have over 10 highly valuable apps for project management, financial management, resource management, and more. We have won the Microsoft Partner of the Year award in Denmark several times in a row. And in 2015 and 2017, we won the worldwide PPM Partner of the Year award, which of course we are very proud of. Our goal is to ensure good energy on all levels of the organization when it comes to portfolios, project, and work. We do this with technical expert knowledge and deep interest in the PPM and modern workplace. So short about me. My name is Christian. I'm a PPM consultant and a team leader. I have a very skilled team of project managers, consultant, BI expert, developers, and testers working together with me. I've worked with PPM for 11 years now and have done around 40 implementations. My passion is to make work as seamlessly as possible through project and portfolio management. Agile principles. I also have a high interest in financial management and resource management. Apart from that, I also run a PPM blog and a small YouTube channel. So if you've heard my voice before, that's probably there. So let's look into the story behind Roadmap. And why it is important for the modern PPM platform. We started looking at the distribution of millennials in the workforce today. We will see that 1/3 of the workforce is already millennials, and by 2025, it is estimated that almost half of the workforce will be millennials. Many millennials have a different view on what is important when it comes to work, when it comes to culture and mindset. They are technically savvy and very skilled, and they expect to be able to work from distributed locations across countries and have high expectation when it comes to performance, intuitivity, and scalability. They're used to working cross-functional teams and have a productivity focus where continuous improvements are expected. They have a focus on actions. They expect to be accountable and expect to be in accountable teams, and they also expect to have very inspiring leaders. This is, well, by 2025, as mentioned, this is the workforce is almost half of the Microsoft realizes this and have tapped into this way of thinking and working. Teams teams work the way they want and executives get the results that they need. This is the vision from the Microsoft project group. And as a result, they are making the following promises. Millennials expect tools that are easy and intuitive to use. They expect them to be platform independent, and they can work from anywhere. Work is happening everywhere and all the time. The tools must be collaborative and give transparency on what goes on. The tools must be scalable and be enterprise ready to support more than 1,000 or even a million projects and resources. They expect the tools to be compliant in terms of GDPR, for example, and security. So this is not an issue for the company who adopt these tools. And last, but definitely not least, is it must be fast. No waiting, the tool should be highly performant. In the Microsoft platform, we already have tools that kind of live up to this vision. Planner is fast, agile, easily embedded into other platforms such as Teams or modern SharePoint. We have Azure DevOps, which is agile to use, supports most governance model and processes, and it's very scalable. We have Teams and Power BI. It's easy to get started with, very scalable and very collaborative. And of course, we have many more tools that are also on this journey. But when it comes to get an overview across waterfall and agile projects, we are somehow limited today to manual reporting and old school tools. So if you are a program manager or a divisional manager, or maybe just a PMO member or single project manager who have interest in many projects running simultaneously and the dependencies between these, it can be quite hard today to get a good overview across these projects. This becomes increasingly harder if the projects are running in different methodologies such as waterfall and agile, and you might also in some cases have projects who are just a collection of tasks that don't use any specific methodology but are still account for some of the work occurring in the company. We have seen a couple of failed attempts. Dare to call this failed attempts, but at least attempts to get an overview of this. Some call it Scrum boards. Some have tried with master plans. And then there's this infamous guy who tried to get the overview of his program by connecting everything on a whiteboard. This is where roadmap comes in. Roadmap connects Planner and Azure DevOps projects and can give trending and reporting capabilities through Power BI. So let's dive right into it and try our roadmap. Yeah, so hopefully you can see my screen now. Here I went into Project Home, which is the new landing page for all your projects. You can see here the projects that are shared with me, the projects that are created by me. I can just see the recent projects that I have used. Now, if I go in here, I can see I have a couple of project online projects. I have a couple of roadmaps. And if I go here to the new button, I can go in and create a new roadmap. And I will just call this roadmap for product launch. Product roadmap. I can then go in and select I want to connect to a specific project that I want to be displayed in this roadmap, and I will just here connect, and I know this project is in Project Online. I'll find the project called Product Launch, and then it looks up all the projects within this PWA. I find it and I can click connect to it. And what it does here behind the scene is it creates a Microsoft flow that connects this roadmap to Project Online. So whenever a new update occurs or something, I can update it. I can then search out the phases and the task and the milestone here and just connect a single task here, a single phase, which has a start and a due date. And when I say add, I will get this into the roadmap. I'll just give this roadmap an owner as well. And then I can see it here. And whenever an update occurs now, I will be able to follow up on it. If I click here and click on the product launch project, I can see I get into Project Online and the schedule web part of product launch. Now I can go in and select the individual task here, and then also have the possibility to push this task out to the people following it on the roadmap. So I click on the button here saying add to roadmap. I can choose product roadmap and I can choose product launch. And then I push this out that everybody get an update whenever I change something on this task. I can of course also do this on the phases and on milestones. So now if I go in here, back to the roadmap and just update it, I will see that I got a new task right here that I got from the project plan. You also see in the top I have a zoom button so I can zoom in and out. I have a filter button so I can go in and filter on the owners if I have many projects lying below each other here. I'll now go back to Project Home and just open up a roadmap where I have connected somehow some more projects. So I will open up this roadmap. And this roadmap is the building and construction of a 10 megawatt windmill. And I can see here I got a project from Project Online, as we just saw, which is architecture and engineering of this windmill. I can see I got 2 milestones, which is coming from the project plan, design complete, engineering complete. And I can see a couple of phases that I'm following currently. Now I have the possibility to go in here and say, well, I want to, I know the blades construction might be delayed. So go in here and say, well, this is at risk of being delayed, notifying myself and anybody else on the team that this is something we need to be aware of and keep an eye on. I can also share this roadmap with other members. So I can go in here and add people and say, Andy, you should also follow this roadmap. She will then be able to see this roadmap in her project center. If I go down here, I can see I have a wind forecast software project running as well. So one thing is making the architecture and engineering of the windmill. We also need some software to actually say when is it best to run. Maybe it needs to share this data with other windmills. I can see I have a couple of tasks here. I have gather statistics, analyze statistics, and so on. This is, of course, a more agile project as it is software development. So if I click on it, I can see here it's connected to an Azure DevOps project I'll just go into. And in here, I have my sprints. I'll just go into the first sprint. I can see here all the user stories of the sprints and all the tasks of the sprints. And if I go into the individual user story, I have set up here that it has a start date and a finish date. I can go in and just change this date because I know this settings analysis is going to take somehow longer than first expected. And then when I go back into roadmap, I can click here. Yeah, of course, it will automatically update, but I can also click here and update to get the recent changes. While this kicks off a flow that runs in the background, it will take a little bit to complete, so we'll just get back to that. Now I also have another project down here, which is a marketing planning for the windmill. So after the windmill has been engineered and we have the software ready, we also need to to notify the world that we actually have a new windmill and they need to buy this. This all occurs in Planner. So I'll just go over here into Teams. I have a team here, marketing and sales for this 10 megawatt windmill. And I have a couple of channels in this team. If I just go to this Planner channel, I can see my Planner board here, where I have it in, and I have a brochure task to do, and I have a European sales numbers need to be gathered, and then also have this New York Times article that needs to be that we in the progress of getting signed. And I can see in here I have a start and a due date, and this of course is used within Roadmap to show the start and the due date of the planner. Yeah, and let's see if this one is finished updated. And I can see now that the gather statistics has a new updated end date. That was short of what Roadmap can do. I, of course, also have the possibility to move the projects around. I can remove and add row items, and then I can add key dates if something I want to specifically say this is an important date for the project. It could be software ready, and we expect the software to be ready around October. In the beginning of October. And I know that we have a couple of tasks in the software platform that are at risk, so I'll also set this milestone to be at risk. Now, when we have gathered all this data up, we can then utilize the trending capabilities and the reporting capabilities to create reports across the different roadmaps and look into the single roadmaps and identify how it's developed over time and what it might take on in the future. So go over here. I have a report that is bound to this specific roadmap. I just went in here to the filter, selected 10 megawatt windmill roadmap. I can see here the different projects running in the roadmap and the duration and the work expected to be delivered in them. So I click here on the architecture and engineering. I can see that the duration of this project has changed over time. I can see back in July, it was roughly 200 days, and today we are almost at 300 days. I can also see the work completed over time have drastically increasing in the last couple of months, but before that, not much work has occurred. If I go in here to a single task within this project plan, I can see more details of how this task is going to complete. And if I look down here, I can see how that task has been replanned over time. So I can see back in July, we actually said it was supposed to start in February, and then it was replanned in October. Nobody started working on it until February. Nobody started working until February, and until today, a lot of work has occurred on it. I can also go over here and I can click on the high risk column here, and then I can see all the tasks that are at high risk. This is, of course, increasingly good because I can also see it over time. I can see this task have been high risk for 3 months in a row, and this one has been at high risk for many months in a row. And the difference is this one, there's no progress on it, nobody have worked on it, so this is probably one of them I need to be more aware of. If I just go back here, I can also go into a single period and say, okay, how did the project plan look in November? Now just make this bigger. I can see in November, I can see who was assigned to it, when was the different task planned to start and end, and progress on these tasks. Of course, if this is an agile project, just go back can also see the average velocity of the sprints within this project. I can see how many story points are assigned to the project. This is, of course, only if it's agile projects. If it's traditional projects, I will more look into the actual working plan. This was a little bit about hands-on and reporting, trending capabilities of roadmap. And if I move on here, let's have a look at the internal workings of roadmap, what is actually powering this engine. So roadmap, as we saw, is connected into Planner, is connected into Azure DevOps and Project and Power BI. Planner is not natively connected. That's something we did, I will show in a moment. But roadmap is built upon, of course, HTML5 technologies, and then the standard Microsoft Power Apps technology that you might have heard about. It's built upon the Flow technology, and it's built upon the CDS technology. And the good thing about this is we can tap into all of these technologies to further develop and use roadmap. That means when we have trending capabilities, we simply just go into CDS and Flow and say we want to track trending of the roadmap items and start doing that. As I said, Planner, here example, we made a Planner Flow connection. So every time you go into a roadmap and give a new roadmap the same name as your Planner plan, it will automatically connect the two and import all the tasks from the Planner boards. We can, of course, integrate this with other platforms, such as JIRA, we've been playing around with. Flow have many different connections that we can just utilize, the standard connection for Wunderlist and Trello and Microsoft Dynamics and many more. And if there's not a standard connection for it, it's very easy to just develop a connection for it and still utilize the Flow engine. So a little bit about the future of Microsoft Roadmap. Of course, I cannot promise anything that comes in the future of Microsoft Roadmap, but I have been hearing a lot and searching around to see what is Microsoft writing, what Microsoft wrote on user voice, and what have other PPM houses requesting. So, of course, further development of the project home with inclusion of more project types is highly expected. We expect, of course, more column types and here more features for connecting roadmaps. And we expect roadmap to be connected into the next version of modern project, which this is an older markup of how it could look. Some of the newer markups look like this, to have it directly connected into a different task, to have it part of the PPM platform. So the project managers and portfolio managers get a more streamlined view of how this is supposed to work. Of course, we expect it to be a continuously simple way of working with task and resources. It will be possible to include different entities from the modern project within roadmap that we don't have today. And I will get back to this here, because on user voice, a lot of people have been requesting features here, and I've been scouting a little bit for, okay, so what is Microsoft putting attention to? What have they replied to? And some of it, they even said they're already working on it. One of such features is to see the number of people assigned within the roadmap and the number of people actually working on the roadmap. You can see I maybe assigned 62 people. I only see 30 people working on it, or it could be the other way around. This is a highly requested feature, and I would expect to see this in the near future. Then we have the project start and finish date here. So instead of looking at all the tasks within the project, sometimes you just want to follow the overall start and finish of the project online project, and we can include that in here, or at least there is, it's planned to be included that we can have the project summary task to be displayed in here. Then something that's already in development and probably ready to be launched soon is more zoom options. So you can zoom into years, you can zoom into quarters, you can filter, and much more. And then another highly requested feature that Microsoft has also replied for is the possibility to display task progress or present completed for the added task. So when people register time on it, or when you go in and say this task is 50% complete, we'll be able to visualize it within roadmap and hopefully also do further analysis of that data. That was all I have. There's some questions. Is it possible to, so I'll just take the questions one by one. Is it possible to zoom out to several years? Of course. Maybe I didn't show that quite clearly. I'll just show here. So you have the zoom button up here. And right now, it's intelligent to see, okay, where my project is actually running. If a project running for a longer time, I can zoom up further. And as I just showed before, in the user voice, to actually click on years and zoom all the way out to say, I just want to see all years on a yearly level. Because right now I have to like hit the right level so I can zoom out. Are there Power BI templates available for such reporting, or is this manually created? So this is a report pack that we created. It's not a template you will be able to find on the Power BI templates, unfortunately. Is there baseline functionality on the roadmap level? So what we did here is we made a flow that says that every time, once a month, we automatically take a snapshot of the roadmap functions. And if I just go back 2 slides here, we saw here that, a couple of slides, that everything is built off the CDS platform. That means that we have a roadmap table down here. We simply just copy that table, and then we made a flow, say once a month, take a snapshot of the table and copy it over to the new table. And then we, in general, have the snapshot or baseline functionality available. So the next question is very technical. Which query table should I select in Power BI to access the list roadmaps? So in order for Power BI to work with roadmaps, you need to use the common data service for apps connector. And then under Dynamics, you will find the roadmap list. And now there might be a tricky part here. That is the roadmap service might not be in your, you might have multiple subscriptions for roadmap. And I don't know if I can show that. I'll see. So if you go into Power Apps here, just need to load. You will see you can have multiple environments here. And if you're not able to find the roadmap table, it's probably because you connected to the wrong environment from Power BI. I think that's as close I can answer in this session. Is resource management integrated with the roadmap product? Right now, there is no resource management capabilities. As I showed before on user voice, it is expected that there are coming some lightweight, I wouldn't call it resource management, or more call it capacity management capabilities, where we can see the number of people working on it. Is it possible to create arrows and callouts on top of the completed roadmap overview? No, the screenshot I showed, there was a PowerPoint. I put the arrows and the callouts on top of that. Apart from seeing the start and finish time of the phase, it's possible to see the change of resources. Yeah, again, I think I already answered that. That is hopefully coming soon. Is the planner flow available for your customers, or is it easy to create yourself? Yes, it's available. Just asking my colleague here, can we upload files to this webinar afterwards? Okay, yeah, I will upload it, so it's available. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for your time. If you have no more questions, I hope you enjoyed it. We definitely enjoyed working with Roadmap and seeing the new capabilities of the modern project. So I hope you will enjoy it as well. And well, if you have questions or need us to help you set up Roadmap or configure it on your environment, well, you have our contact information. Thank you.